Dr. Kizza Besigye, of age 61, remains in jail in Kampala on treason charges after being seized in the neighboring country Kenya in November last year, though he has remained defiant, insisting that the accusations leveled against him are false. Perez Matthew for JBS News.
And now from Uganda to Tanzania, the political atmosphere is heating up as Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu Hassan takes on the role of a long-range campaigner, studying her ruling party's agenda across the region. Her strong solo campaign presence comes at a time when her main political rival, Tundu Lissu, is entangled in a series of court battles that threaten to derail his political momentum to get Suluhu rather out of office in the forthcoming elections. Here are the details.
President Samia Suluhu has intensified her outrage and political mobilization during large crowds in Tanzania, where she is campaigning to be elected in office for the second time.
Hello vijana, hello kina mama, hello kina baba, hello Manyara, na washukuru wana Babati, mmenipokea vizuri sana na mnaniaga kwa bashasha kubwa sana, na washukuru sana.
Analysts describe Suluhu as a lone ranger campaigner, a leader who was chosen personally to engage communities bypassing traditional political surrogates.
Mheshimiwa Rais, chama kile kwa sasa ni chama cha fujo. Viongozi wake wamekuwa na maslahi binafsi. Hasa ukisema moja, kama kitu kinasema moja, wao ni lazima wabishe waseme ni mbili. Kwa hiyo wamekuwa wapinzani hata kwa maendeleo ya taifa hili.
Her message focused on unity, women empowerment and economic self-reliance, themes that have become her trademark since she assumed office.
Ukitizama ilani yetu hii ambayo tunainadi sasa hivi ya 25-30 kifungu cha 2.3, ilani ile inasema na inatuelekeza kitupa ridhaa, serikali itakayoundwa na Chama cha Mapinduzi iboreshe maisha ya watu na ustawi wa jamii. Ina maana inatuelekeza tuendelee kufanya kazi kwa kasi kubwa kwenye sekta hizi za maendeleo ya jamii.
Meanwhile, the opposition figure Tundu Lissu faces mounting legal challenges. He is battling multiple court cases linked to what authorities describe as act of undermining national stability, accusation his supporters dismiss as politically motivated.
Kukosoa serikali sio kosa. Kumkosoa Rais Samia sio kosa. Kama hataki kukosolewa, aache kazi za kuongoza nchi yetu, akae nyumbani kwake. Mtu akienda kumkosoa, huyo atakuwa anamchokoza, atamshtaki mahakamani. Vitendo vya kuendelea kuteka watu kwa sababu wanaikosoa serikali, kwa sababu wanakosoa mwenendo wa serikali na wanamkosoa rais, havikubaliki na hatutavikubali, na iko siku watajibu, hata wakiwa wazee. Hata waliojiwekea kinga, tutaziondoa hizo kinga, watatakiwa kuja kutueleza nani amemchukua Polepole.
The legal woes have left Lissu's campaign machinery struggling to stay afloat, giving Suluhu an upper hand in controlling the regional narrative. Political observers say Suluhu's bold and independent approach, often without heavy reliance on party structures, signals a shift in the East African political styles, where personal credibility and visibility increasingly shapes leadership appeal.
Tunaenda na mama kwa sababu mimi natoka kwenye kata Sunya, mama katuingizia bilioni 70 kwa sababu ya daraja wilaya Kiteto Sunya. Kata Sunya tumepata daraja la Mama Samia la thamani ya milioni 700. Bado na shule shikizi zimejengwa kwa sababu ya Mama Samia, lazima tuende naye msimu wa 2025 kwenda 2030.
Tunaendelea kumchagua Rais Samia kwa sababu ametufanyia mambo makubwa, maendeleo. Tuletea maendeleo katika mitaa, kata. Tuna sababu za kumchagua, kumpa kura kwa wingi za kishindo mpaka zinamwagika.
As Samia Suluhu continues to dominate the campaign trail and Tundu Lissu fights his battles in court, the unfolding drama underscores the evolving face of the East African politics, one defined by resilience, personality and power placed beyond borders.
Hello. Hello vijana, hello. Hello kina mama, hello. Hello kina baba, hello. Hello Manyara, hello.
Davis Karani for GBS News.
Now moving on, 6 South African activists detained by Israeli forces during a Gaza aid flotilla say they were deliberately targeted, stripped, humiliated and threatened more harshly than others because of South Africa's genocide case against Israel at the International Court of Justice. Now back home, they are speaking out about what they endured and why they believe their nationality made them a target. Here are the details.
6 South Africans activists have returned home after being detained by Israeli forces while attempting to deliver aid to Gaza as part of the global Sumid flotilla. Among 450 international participants, they say they were singled out and subjected to harsher treatment simply because they were South Africans.
We were handcuffed with cable ties, tied tightly behind our backs, taken off our boats and put on the platform, paraded for all the Israelis and the allies in Europe and the West and the global community to see.
We had rifles pointed at our foreheads, backed against the room to take out forcibly 2 of our comrades to solitary confinement. We are a direct, non-violent movement. We were 10 or 12 women, I cannot remember, in the cell, yet they responded to us with this type of brutal violence. They were obviously given instructions not to harm us, but they used every means of humiliation.
Fatima Hendricks and Zahira Suma describe being forcibly stripped of their hijabs and naked in front of Israeli soldiers, a violation they say was not inflicted on other Muslim women.
There were other aspects of differentiation though. For example, Fatima and myself our hijab was forcibly removed off our head when other Muslim women their hijabs were not removed off their head. Both of us were forced behind a screen, pushed against a wall, our heads pushed against a wall and completely stripped naked in front of IOF soldiers. This did not happen to other women.
Mandla Mandela, also part of the mission, believes their treatment was retaliation for South Africa's genocide case against Israel at the International Court of Justice. He called it punishment for a nation that dared to challenge what he described as apartheid policies.
Many of our comrades were offered opportunity to shower. They ensured that the South African delegation was denied this. But we understood very well why that is so. Because we are a nation that dared through our government to take apartheid Israel to the International Court of Justice.
We are the ones who took Israel to the ICJ and ICC, so there is a bit of anger about that. And we don't have an embassy in Israel. We have our embassies in Ramallah and Palestine. So our consular officials tried to come to us. They tried to come to us even from Thursday, and they were not allowed. And then when they finally saw us, it was Sunday. And on Sunday, they were only really allowed like 2 minutes, and they said time up, and then we said no.
Israel's foreign minister denies any mistreatment, but the activist stories raise troubling questions about the cost of speaking out and the power of global solidarity in the face of injustice. Elvis Muyodi, GBS News.
And now the ambassador will take a short break. We'll be right back with more. Here is more coming.
Hello kids! Today we are going to learn the story about Jesus feeding 5,000 people. Do you know of any other miracle that Jesus Christ did? Do you know which work Jesus Christ used to do? My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do. 5 tiny barley loaves, 2 small fish in a little boy's lunchbox. Although it wasn't much, he gave it to Jesus.
The best thing is that you can make something for yourself. May I just say that? Like you can just let your mind be creative. You're not limiting it, and you create something, and every time I make something, I just look at it and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
What do you mean no, I just be like that. Yes.
And what do you think is required for someone to make it in the fashion industry? So umekuja na mapochopocho. You've got like really amazing things. Utatuanzia na answer from the front to the back.
Okay. That is something. When you look at it like this, you'll have to sit down and figure it out. Like, how did this person make this wallet? See, this is art. You can also create yarn from like t-shirts. Yes. So that's what I'm trying to change. I want to create sustainable fashion where you don't have to go and buy yarn to crochet. You can just create yarn at your space, or you can go and thrift clothes, clothes made of yarn.
Yeah.
Jina ni Coach Martin Musili. I'm a coach, as I've stated. E-sport nilitambua since 2015-2016. Jina ni Coach Martin Musili. I'm a coach, as I've stated. E-sport nilitambua since 2015-2016.
Kuna sports mingi man, but nili kutiga kwa fencing.
Kwa e-sport kuna kitele, kuna pesa kweli.
In as much as tunaiplay, tunaitumia pia kama life skills. Si shule peke yake, pia corporates. Na tunakuja tunawafunza strategic thinking. It can create an avenue for a scholarship. If maybe anacheza shule, a scholarship. Maybe anaweza advertise ile corporate.
Nini nimekukeep kwa game, like ni strategy gani unatumia, like unafeel strategy ndio imenyekanga hapa, unafeel kupeleka mbali. Halafu utaniambia ni strategy gani imekumake unatumia as a player, ona ile strategy yangu inafanyanga na win game. Hata as a coach, ni strategy gani unaonanga hii nikitumia na saidia player wangu kudefeat opponent wake. Requirements zangu ni nini? Nini nataka kwa fencer? What are the requirements?
All you have to be, as long as you can walk, you can move your arms and you can think on your feet. You can fence.
Ili kujua mengi, jiunge nami Omala Brian kwenye GBS TV Sports Sugu Show. This is where passion meets the game.
Everywhere GBS.
Welcome back to The Ambassador as we break down the development news for you and get the bigger picture on what's happening globally. Now moving on, a Nigerian correction officer serving under the United Nations mission in the Democratic Republic of the Congo has been recognized with a prestigious international award. Olukemi Ibikolne has been named the winner of the 3rd United Nations Trailblazer Award for Women Justice and Corrections Officers, marking another proud moment for Nigeria on the global stage. In recognition of her outstanding service, commitment, and leadership in peacekeeping, Nigerian Corrections Officer Olukemi has won the United Nations Trailblazer Award for Women Justice and Corrections Officers. Ibikolne, who serves with the United Nations Organization Stabilization Mission in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, was honored for her exceptional dedication to advancing justice, promoting gender equality, and improving correctional system in conflict-affected regions. The Trailblazer Award, now in its third edition, celebrates the contributions of women working in United Nations Peace Operation in Justice and Corrections role. Officer Ibikolnes work has focused on rehabilitation programs, humane treatment of inmates, and the empowerment of female correctional staff.
Proud to stand today as proof that women have a voice. We can dream boldly and contribute meaningfully to peace and security. The faces of the children living with their mothers in detention and the children in conflict with the law in the DRC prisons, which remind me daily of the profound responsibility I, and indeed all of us, carry for the future generations. The reminder that I'm not doing this for myself alone, but for other girls and women who will follow, for my daughter, showing them true example that it can be done. This is why I urge member states to nominate and deploy more women to justice and corrections roles in peace operations. Representation matters. It matters for the effectiveness of our missions, and it also matters for the message it sends to communities around the world, that women belong at the heart of peace.
And now moving on with our international news. In a strong show of unity, regional and international partners have issued a powerful call for an immediate cessation of hostilities between forces aligned with the parties to the peace agreement in South Sudan. The appeal came during a high-level forum convened to address the country's worsening political and security situation. Davis Karani now reports.
At a time when tension continues to escalate in parts of South Sudan, regional and international stakeholders have voiced deep concerns over renewed clashes that threatens to derail the fragile peace process.
Permanent ceasefire is continually and repeatedly violated by signatory parties. Across many parts of the country, SPLM, AIO, and SSPDF forces have consistently attacked each other and their allied forces, leading to the death of civilians, the destruction of villages, and internal displacement.
During a forum focused on assessing the implementation of the 2018 Revitalized Peace Agreement, delegates from the African Union, the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, also abbreviated as IGAD, the United Nations, and the other development partners urged all parties to halt fighting and prioritize dialogue.
There is no doubt, therefore, that the axis is facing its greatest challenge since its signing. If the current challenges are not urgently addressed, there is a high risk of reversal of all the gains already made, and it may lead to a collapse of the agreement altogether.
In our analysis, the challenges facing the R-axis are man-made, fundamentally political, and only resolvable through inclusive dialogue.
Speakers understood that continued hostilities not only undermine the gains made since the signing of the peace accord, but also worsen the humanitarian crisis, displacing thousands of civilians and disrupting aid delivery.
We are monitoring the situation of funding, and we are developing a fallback position. It is not the time to divulge, but because we intend to take the country for election, we are actively engaging among ourselves to ensure that we have a fallback position that will be smooth and trouble-free so that we can take the country for election.
The partners called on South Sudan's leaders to demonstrate political will, uphold their commitment under the peace deal, and ensure the protection of civilians across all regions.
The agreement has been on its knees, but it can be rescued, Honorable Chair. The rescue of the agreement should be through a dialogue. And actually, I would like to bring it to the attention of all the parties that we all need to rethink and we need to all go and sit on the table, and we should dialogue so that we can rescue this agreement and South Sudan in general.
The forum concluded with a unified message as peace in South Sudan remains within reach, but only all actors choose dialogue over division and unity over violence. Davis Karani for GBS News, South Sudan.
And now from the Middle East, a glimmer of hope in the Gaza war as President Donald Trump announces a ceasefire and hostage deal that could see Israeli captives freed as early as Saturday. Israel is expected to begin a partial troop withdrawal within 24 hours of signing the agreement, even as airstrikes continue in Gaza overnight. Here are the details.
I was just dealing with people from the Middle East, Arab people and other people on the potential peace deal for the Middle East. Peace for the Middle East, it's a beautiful phrase and we hope it's going to come true, but it's very close and they're doing very well.
Then in a post on his social media platform, Donald Trump confirmed the header deal, writing, "I am very proud to announce that Israel and Hamas have both signed off on the first phase of our peace plan. This means that all of the hostages will be released very soon, and Israel will withdraw its troops to an agreed upon lines as the first step toward strong, durable, and everlasting peace. All parties will be treated fairly. This is a great day for the Arab and Muslim world, Israel, and all surrounding nations, and the United States of America. We also thank the mediators from Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey who worked with us to make this historic and unprecedented event happen. Blessed are the peacemakers." The news was greeted with celebration in Gaza. The hopes that after more than 2 years, the bombings, the attacks, the continuing unrelenting pain of death may be about to end.
These are the moments that are considered historic, long awaited by Palestinian citizens after 2 years of killing and genocide that was committed with arrogance. The joy we saw a short time ago in the street is relief from the massacres, killings, and genocide.
Thank God. Today, President Trump announced that the war stopped. We are very happy. This is something joyful for us, and we thank our brothers and anyone who contributed, even if verbally, to stop this war and to stop the bloodshed.
Israeli relatives of those being held captive in Gaza were in D.C. to ask the president to secure their freedom. They posted their thanks.
Yesterday, we gathered here in the Sukkah of Hope with the Trump administration. And today, President Trump has done it. He announced just now that our loved ones, the hostages, are coming home. We will not stop fighting until we see the last of the 48 return to their family. Those who were murdered in captivity, buried in the land of Israel, those who are still alive, walking through the border and reuniting with us, the families.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu posted the approval of the first phase of the plan. All our hostages will be brought home. This is the diplomatic success and a national and moral victory of the State of Israel. From the beginning, I made it clear we will not rest until all our hostages return and all our goals are achieved. Through steadfast resolve, powerful military action, and the great efforts of our great friend and ally President Trump, we have reached this critical turning point. I thank President Trump for his leadership, his partnership, and his unwavering commitment to the safety of Israel and freedom of our hostages. Donald Trump revealed his 20-point plan for his peace in the Middle East, including a ceasefire in Gaza, during a meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House last month. Hamas and Israel indicated a willingness to move forward, but several important sticking points had to be negotiated, including how far and how fast Israel will move out of Gaza and the release of Palestinian prisoners. One observer says Israel must follow through on promises and commitment made.
That seems to be the rallying cry for Israel to maintain international sympathy, that they have to do what they're allegedly have to massacre Palestinians as part of an effort to get the hostages back. If you give up the hostages, Israel doesn't have that excuse anymore. But in material terms, for people who know that this was never Israel's primary concern, that the primary concern is an effort to eliminate Palestinian existence between the river and the sea, that project is very much going to remain in the hands of Netanyahu and potentially ongoing.
Reporting for GBS TV.
That's how we wrap up today's edition of The Ambassador. I have been your ambassador, Paul Madenge. It's been great having you with me here on GBS TV Africa. Stay tuned for updates throughout the day and be sure to join me every Thursday and Friday as we continue to debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. Make sure to join me tomorrow for the Diplomatic Lens. Thank you for your time and company. Until then, goodbye.
Everywhere